Hey, my Go Tribe, I'm going to teach you guys something today. If you don't already know this, try to apply it for your life going forward. Now, you see, when God created the world, He created a space where everyone can be able to achieve their goals and their dreams. He never created a set of people better than others or richer than others. This is just the way society turned out. Now, He also created the different races. You know, you have the Indians, the Asians, the whites, and the blacks. This is just for diversity. It was never supposed to be for oppression. It was never supposed to be for competition. But life happened. Now, most of what makes the world move shady and move in a negative direction is because people wanted to put themselves in certain categories. Oh, I feel I am better than you because I am richer than you. I feel I am better than you because I have a better education than you. I feel I am better than you because I am from Igbo, but you're Yoruba. You see, they created this. This is not the making of God. This is the making of humanity. Now, this is my principle, and I have always lived by this, and this is why it is so easy for me to relate to an Indian, an Asian, a Nigerian, a Romanian, and this is why it is also very easy for me to relate to a bread seller, a mechanic, a lawyer, a doctor, a maid. It doesn't matter. As long as you understand that life is about people and humanity, nothing else matters. The second you start thinking that you're better than someone else because of your education and your financial status, that's when you create a problem. And sadly, we live in a society where people have rated themselves according to these different levels. A poor man doesn't feel he's good enough because he doesn't have the wealth of the rich man. And even if he might have very good standards and have good principles, he would always fall and respect the rich man because he rates him higher. And that is where a lot of people will fall. You have to rate people based on their characters and their integrity. Because if you rate them based on their social status, you would always put yourself in lack. And with lack comes a lot of other traits that could affect your life negatively. When you think somebody else is better than you, automatically it creates resentment. It creates chaos, it creates hate, and it creates jealousy. Those are the traits that come with a certain mindset. And this is why I would always say, educate your children in a way that is good for society. Every child comes like an empty vessel. They do not know what is good or bad. They do not know what is hate or love. You are the one that is obligated to teach them this. When you see your child straying away from what is positive for them, let's say they start feeling jealous and all that, you need to bring them back. But for you to bring them back, you also already need to have these principles. You are special on your own. What people have and the wealth they have and the influence they have, the only thing you should take out of them is say, okay, I wouldn't mind being like that. I will strive to become that. But the second you already tell yourself they are better than you, it will always keep you down. Because instead of you to now focus on bettering yourself and creating something magical for yourself, you would focus on hating the other person. Now, a lot of people might look down on a bread seller because maybe they don't have an education, right? And you would tell yourself, oh, but I'm a lawyer or I'm a doctor because I have degrees. Guess what? On an average day, a bread seller might make more money than you. If you're in a bad oppressed system like Nigeria, your education almost doesn't matter. Because I have seen people who were studied medicine and became Uber drivers. Now tell me, if I don't rate that person based on character, how else would I rate them? Should I say, oh, it doesn't matter that you have an education, but because you're a driver now, I should rate you poorly? No, I would always rate you by your character, my darlings. Take me, for example. I studied business administration for 9 years. I came out with a 9.5. I also have 5 other certificates, including marketing and critical thinking, which I aced them. 10 over 10 for me. I also do my art. My art is not something I went to school for. My art is something, a passion I've had because my grandfather was an artist. He worked with oil, and I put in dedication. I had sleepless nights to learn my craft, to become my best version. Doesn't mean I do better than the next artist. No, we're just all different. Now, I will never tell people because I have all these degrees and I am mixed race, oh, I am better than you, as in how? I can never be better than another human that God created. This is why I find it very, very offensive when I see people attacking physical appearance also. Everybody was created by God. Do you understand? Just because you rate beauty a certain standard and you think, oh, this one is less attractive or this one is more attractive, no. It will always boil down to your personality. Outer beauty will fade. You would get the wrinkles whether you like it or not. You will have the stretch marks whether you like it or not. You will have your own little insecurities, and the only reason you have those insecurities is because society has rated beauty at one standard. Now, you telling yourself you're better and more beautiful than the next person does not make you a person of integrity. It makes you a hater. Because you need to raise yourself up and your standards up just to oppress the next person. Let's take VDM for example. VDM is a man who came out to the public, right? He focused on his own mission as a person. He was never in competition with anyone. He stood his ground. As he grows up in this society and on the media, he will make mistakes and he will grow out of them. It's not about the mistakes you make. It's about how fast you can acknowledge there's a mistake and move away from it. And from what I have observed though, there has always been a steady flow of growth. People only hate him because they see him as superior. That is why they hate him. They don't hate what he stands for or what he's doing. They only hate him because they have told themselves that this man is better than me. Now, instead of them to look at it like, this is a man that came from an environment that wasn't rich, but with time he grew up and had a voice that is strong enough to cover the whole of Nigeria. Even in your sleep, you know who VDM is, right? Instead of you to aspire to be great, not like him, but to be great in your own way, with your own voice, with your own platform, you turned it into hate. You turned it into hate. And you know the funny thing about hate? Hate brings you down, but hate will keep pushing him up. Sometimes I see some comments and I see some things people say and some videos and I look at them and I laugh and I move past. Because I'm like, damn, I actually feel sad for you. Because you have the same 24 hours. You have a voice. You're great in your own way, but you choose to focus on somebody else's progress. You made him God. You made him better than you. That's the difference. As he is growing his platform with his strong principles, you are over here not working on yourself, not looking within yourself, not trying to find out, how can I be as great? You turned all that into him. You see my point? I tell my daughter all the time when she's like, oh, but I should know this and I should know this and I should act this way. I say, honey bun, you are exactly where you're supposed to be, and the way you think is exactly where you're supposed to be for your age. There are people in their 30s, 40s, 50s that still have not understood what life stands for. They haven't. They just grow up in a very negative mindset and it just keeps pushing. You need to know who you want to be. You can take ideas from the world, but never try to be somebody else and never try to copy them. Become your own person. Make your voice so loud that it's unshakable, regardless of what people say or do. You are where you are for that age, but you can always enhance yourself because the brain works in magical ways. So the lesson of the day is never think you're better than someone else because of your class. Focus on yourself and let God do his magic in your life. Don't restrict your growth because of envy.